Good afternoon and welcome to eMix. At the moment I think you are probably going to be an English teacher here, so it's very important that we learn some of these tips to be a better teacher. If you've had no experience or you've had previous experiences, we want you to find that these tips will be beneficial for you and your students. Let's go with tip number 1 is to know your students. By knowing your students, we want to increase your understanding of who your students are, their backgrounds, their educational experiences. This will provide you with a better understanding of their educational needs and the many ways that we can support them. Number 2 is to be aware of their social and emotional needs. This means that understanding more about the student's needs is the key, such as their family background, their school, their friends. This is very important for you to develop the connection between student and yourself. With number 3, we have the student's needs for SWRL. This will mean speaking, writing, reading, and listening. This is for your everyday or in every lesson. Each of our students need a domain of the language acquisition. This need is to be equally exercised across all the content areas frequently. Assuring that students are using all these domains of language acquisition is to support their development is very essential. Number 4, increase your understanding of the English language proficiency. By doing so, social and academic language proficiencies are very different from each other. A student may be more proficient in one versus the other. A student's level of academic English may be masked by a higher level of BICS, which is Basic Interpersonal Communication Skills, compared to their CALP, which is their Cognitive Academic Language Proficiency. So let's understand the English language proficiency. With number 5, we want to use your authentic visuals and manipulatives. Authentic visuals, such as these can be over or they can be underutilized, but implementing the use of authentic resources, for example, food menus, restaurant menus, schedules, buses or train schedules, postcards, photographs, video clips, music, can all enhance the comprehension of the complex content concepts. Number 6, strategies that match our language proficiency. Knowing the level of English language proficiency at which your students are functioning academically is vital in order to be able to level up appropriately. Knowing which levels are most appropriate takes time, but will support language learning more effectively. Number 7, incorporate various learning methods. Now, time to time, generally, you will encounter various kinds of learners. Some that are visual learners, some that are auditory learners, and those who learn best through hands-on activities. This is most focused on the children that we teach here, but in some forms, case by case, adults as well. Quite often, our students will simply stop trying to learn the information because this material does not appeal to them. For this reason, it's important to accommodate various learning styles by incorporating visual cues, music, and hands-on activity into your lesson. Number 8, maximize STT. This is very important, meaning student talking time. Keep in mind, like everything else, students learn best by doing. Number 9, utilize the time students outside of their classroom. This importance is sometimes teachers give too much homework or not enough homework. Utilizing this instead of wasting time on tasks which students can do on their own time, maximize the time that you do have on group work, speaking, and explaining difficult concepts. Giving them homework to reinforce what they learned in class is essential. And number 10, promoting, we won't be doing this. Number 10 is actually be yourself. Teaching is a balance of combining your personality, your strengths, and your style with what has already been proven. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Now I will be reading out what we have as a guideline. This guideline is a preparations for instructors through our private and through our group lessons here at eMix. This handout will hopefully be given to you when you have your interview, but let me read this out for you once more. As our classes are structured for 50 minutes, we must try to fit in the appropriate form of teaching for our students. Here below is a form we would like for you to follow. It is of great importance for our instructors to arrive 10 minutes before lesson time. This helps them to prepare any material needed to ensure a smooth lesson. As an example, resource books, audios, electric dictionary, any handout text, and any other material to teach our students. We also have a teacher's manual. This teacher's manual can be reviewed ahead of time if needed. Next is when the lesson starts, case by case, depending on the students, 1 to 4 students, we have a 5 to 7 minute open conversation with each of the students. This is basically to warm them up. It's an introduction for new students or a general small talk question to open the air. General questions, as you should know, how was your week? How was your weekend? How was your trip? All of these will have some impact to the student and teacher's relationships. If you are a new instructor to our students, briefly introduce yourself. Give them some background of who you are and where you're from. Very important. Next that we also want to know is to follow next to our handout program. We have an eMix handout program. It is about 5 to 6 parts. Speaking training exercises, special training exercises, pronunciations, and so forth. We follow this handout. This contains the speaking training exercise with a speaking training, super speaking training. With the speaking training, the instructors will have 3 questions. The first, second, and third are in lengths, such as, did you eat today? And we wished for our students to return the answer with a full answer of yes and no. Now going back to, did you eat today? Yes, I ate today. No, I didn't eat today. The second question will follow up quite long. Did you eat lunch today? And so on and so on. Follow this by having the students know of greater links to the second and third question. Let's please take note of pronunciation and word structure, carefully assisting our students with grammar and the comprehensions. After this text sheet is finished, we now move into our textbook. This textbook, according to the teacher's schedule, is used for 2 pages each lesson. Please do not extend to 3 or 4. But if you're not able to do 2 pages, please make sure that the next week you will be caught up onto the regular 2-page exercise. When we follow this program, basically it's needed that we can use the audio CD, or in the office we do have another CD that the teachers can use for themselves. The written audio is available for students to also role play, so ensure that our students look in the back of their book and use this CD at their home. Once the lesson is completed, very important is to review back to your lesson for any questions or answers between you and the student. One of the importance, before we stop, is we want to be aware of the time and structure accordingly to the lesson plan. 50 minutes. You will hear bells ringing, you will hear many things that will give you some insight that lesson time is finished. So please follow that time and then prepare for your next lesson if you have. We must limit instructors of the use of Japanese speaking. This is a case-by-case thing. Of course, our higher beginners and pre-intermediate and intermediate level students, not necessary to have language of Japanese at all. But to our children or to our super beginners, if needed, please use if you know how to speak Japanese. But try not to use Japanese throughout your 50 minutes. Instructors must allow students to speak as much as possible. Here, the STT, students talking time. If at all possible, let's assign some homework, okay? If there's any questions, please contact us or contact me. My name is Paul. I'm willing to work with you, help you out, and make you feel comfortable. Thank you.